All right, so we're rolling. You should make your first dollar. And I don't mean that in the traditional sense that you get a job and you work there and you get your salary. No. I'm saying that you should make your first dollar through your own means. Now, why am I saying that, right? Why should you make money that isn't in the traditional sense? I actually wrote out what I wanted to say. I don't usually use scripts, but I wanted to make sure that this video is as concise and as direct as possible. So yeah, start off. Why should you make your first dollar, and why shouldn't it be through a job? First things first, you build initiative, right? There's no one to tell you what to do, but you're still doing something to progress your dream. You're taking initiative to get out there and make that money. Number two, you get creativity, right? Since you don't have someone telling you what to do, you don't exactly have a job description, right? So you're gonna get creative. What do I do in order to make money? And number three, you get independence. It will get to a point where you don't need someone to tell you what to do, right? You're gonna be the one thinking of the solutions to your own problems. And that's kind of the lessons, some of the lessons you're gonna learn if you're gonna make money that isn't through the traditional sense, right? Now, how do you make money? How do you make money if it's not gonna be through a job? Well, first you need to understand what is money. What does money represent? In the very basic sense, money is value. And how do you get money? You provide value. That's basically it. By defining money that way, you're able to then think, okay, if all I need to do is provide value, what value do I have? And that's where you start thinking, right? Start thinking, what are the problems that people are facing? That's one. You look for a problem. Now, with that problem, what solution can you provide? And that's basically the very fundamental way that you're able to make money. And you may think to yourself, well, I don't really have any skills to provide people. I don't really have any value to provide. Well, then do it through sheer effort. Do the jobs that people don't want to be. And that's a term people call sweat equity, right? It's mowing people's lawns, it's cleaning people's houses, it's doing someone's laundry, things like that. Those are some jobs that you can do, right? Some work that you can do in order to make money. And after you do that, then you come to find that, well, shit, I don't really like doing that. I don't really like sweating for my money. Kind of want to do it in a way that has a bit more leverage, right? Well, that's when you start thinking or looking into high income skills specifically. Well, what are high income skills? It is the job that people don't want to do or don't want to learn. So if it's hard to learn, then you taking your time to learn that skill in and of itself is valuable. Because, for example, a business owner, they're good at doing one thing. They're good at, let's say, selling barbecue. Just because they're good at selling barbecue doesn't mean they're good at marketing their barbecue. And that's where your high income skill comes in. These business owners are good at this thing, but they're bad at this thing. What you end up doing is you provide the value that they need. And that comes in different forms. That can be you learning sales, you learning marketing, you learning finance. And those are broad terms, right? To give you a bit more of a concrete examples, you can learn web design, you can learn copywriting, you can learn how to do sales specifically, like closing or setting, appointment setting. You can learn how to do video editing, graphic design, things like that. Those are some high income skills that you can sell to other people. And bonus tip, don't sell the skill, sell the outcome that will come from getting that skill or using that skill. So sales allows you to get more sales. Marketing, it allows your brand or your product to get seen by more people. So these are the things that you should be selling in order to make more money. Now that you know how to make money, I kind of want to give a real story, my own story of how I got to where I am right now. So I started out back in, I think, elementary, like grade school, where I would so stupid. I would rent out my correction tape. It's like an eraser for pens. I would rent it out to my classmates. Anytime they use it, they pay a peso, or I guess for other countries it's a cent, right? They pay a cent. That's for every time they borrow it and they use it and they return it, right? There, it was nothing fancy, but the kid in me was like, I can make money off of this, and that's kind of how it went. Fast forward to a little bit, um, I'm at like grade 11 or 12, and I'm kind of like one of the smarter kids. I don't really want to say the smartest, but I'm like one of the smarter kids. And I usually tutor up other people once the exam season is up. So they come to me, they ask me, bro, how did you do this? How did you learn this? What exactly do I need to know in order to pass the exam? And that's something I usually did for my friends. And I did it for free. And what ended up happening was once I transferred school and I kept doing it, one of my friends or one of my girlfriend's friends went ahead and said, why not charge for it? The people I'm teaching now, I switched schools. The people I'm teaching now aren't necessarily super, super close friends. They're just acquaintances. That's when the idea came, like, why don't you start charging? Well, that idea didn't really push through. The other idea that did work out was me doing their homework. I started selling school commissions. I started taking people's homework, do it for them, and then give it to them, get them a good grade, right? That's when I started selling that service. It wasn't really high income. It was still sweat. I just wasn't, exactly sweating per se, but I was doing work that people didn't want to do or that people needed a high score in, and that's what I did. And that's just how it went. But it got to a point where I was doing too much, and not really too much. I wasn't happy with the work I was doing. That's A. And B, I wasn't really getting much money from it either. Like, yeah, the money was there, but wasn't really good money. So that's when I started looking into other side hustles, other jobs, other that I could get into. And that's where I started YouTube automation. And the dumb thing about it is I got into YouTube automation even though it wasn't really automatic. I was doing everything myself. Aside from the voiceover being generated by AI, entire video me getting the assets, the script, I would generate it through ChatGPT, but I'd still revise it and fix the script. So yeah, I was still doing that. And the video editing, which took most of the work. But what ended up happening was I released 3 videos on my channel, and that's it. I stopped. The reason I stopped is someone saw my videos, found it interesting, and said, your videos have pretty good quality, especially for a channel with 20 subscribers. It had really, really good editing. They were like, why don't you edit for me? And that's when I pivoted, right? I'm no longer doing YouTube automation. I'm just doing video editing for other YouTubers. And that's where I started scaling, right? I actually earned, better money from what I was doing before that. That's where I found my high income skill. I'd say it was through luck, but the thing is, I wouldn't have gotten lucky if I didn't start in the first place, which is a little key takeaway. By earning your money, by earning your first dollar, you're teaching yourself to learn more skills, to get better at it, and to be able to be equipped once the opportunity comes. Because a lot of people get lucky, but not many people capitalize on getting lucky. Yeah, and that's where we are right now. So from editing, I'm now scaling up my marketing agency, a video editing content agency. Overall, what I got from that was after I started making money and after I got that first editing client, it really it really sparked a fire in me to actually like pursue it and get serious. Because chances are, if you're starting out, you're mowing someone's lawn, you're not gonna get that fire in you to, oh, I want to be the best lawnmower. If that is your goal, then more power to you. But in a general sense, you're not gonna get that fire. You're gonna get the fire to get out of that situation. You're gonna be like, I don't want this. So that's what's gonna push you. But once you actually start making income from your high income skill, you're gonna be like, damn, the money is good. It's a hopefully you picked a skill that you enjoy, or like a skill that is a bit more in line with what you like. And you're like, huh, the job, I like the job. I like what I'm doing. I'm doing it under my own terms, right? And that's when you hopefully you get the fire to just keep going, to keep pushing, to keep doing what you're doing because it's working, right? That's kind of like the mindset shift that happens when you make your first dollar. You come to realize what's possible out there, come to realize the opportunities, what you may have been missing out when you weren't making any money. And then just in general, you build yourself up to be better. And that's why I'm such an advocate for people to start making money, especially at a young age, and especially if you're not in the US. If you're not in the US, or if you're not in a country that makes high, or like that your currency isn't that high, once you start making money in a different currency that's higher leverage, bro, you're gonna get so fired up to keep going that it's wraps. It's wraps. You're just gonna go down that path, and hopefully you keep going down that path to succeed. I kind of want to end this out with with another story. I had this friend. I owe graduating the time back in lockdown, back in when the pandemic was going crazy. They would create notes, transcripts, and just in general some cool stuff that they'd give out for free for the class. But then come college, right? Once again, same story. These people aren't really close to her. So these people come up to them and they go, "Can you do this cool trances for us?" And they come to me knowing that I used to do on school commissions, and they were like, "How much should I charge? How much should I charge for this?" And I give them the price and they're like, "That's way too high. There's no way they're gonna pay that. There's no way they're gonna do that." And I tell them, just try it. Just say it, see what they say. And the reason they thought they wouldn't pay for that is because they used to do it for free, right? And they don't really know what it's like to make money through your own way. Lo and behold, once once they said the price, it was an instant go. And that wasn't just one client, right? They were three people who wanted what they could provide, and they all paid it. And that's when they went up and said, "Holy shit, man. They paid that?" They were really surprised. And I was like, "Yeah, that's what business is. You provide value and you get money back." And seeing that mindset shift really put things into perspective. That not everyone understands entrepreneurship, or like making money through your own terms, which is why I'm advocating for it right now through this video. If you are into business and everything and all that, stop watching more videos. It's not going to help you. Actually try. Actually look for a way where you can make money. If you're making zero, just get one. If you're making one, try to get 10. If you're making 10, try to get 100. Just try to scale up. Try to take actionable steps. You don't need to have everything figured out. Just try, and clarity will come. Understanding will come. Because there are things you will never understand and you will never figure out if you're just watching videos. It will only come once you start and actually get your head in the game, get some skin in the game. And that's when you start having a better understanding of, oh, so this is how this works. This is how that happens. Everything just hopefully will, in due time, come into place. So I kind of want to say it's a very simple video this time. I've been overthinking on what to post when I really shouldn't. Like I already have the content calendar and everything prepped out. I just like the video idea is there. I just don't know the format and everything that I want to pursue. I kind of want to practice what I preach. I just want to get the reps in, learn from this, learn a bit better, get more feedback, and just improve overall. If you reach the end of the video, thanks so much for watching. Leave that in the comments, any questions you want to ask, any videos you want to see, and I'll see you in the next one.